Hey everyone, Dan Savadra here from Merge Your Data, and today is day 15 of the 90-day YouTube sprint on signal analytics. And today's a big day because we are releasing one of the best free resources we've ever released. I think it's probably the best resource we've ever released. It is the B2B Signal Constructor tool. And in this video, I'm going to be going through the tool itself and how you can use it. It brings data to action. And it gives you an exact plan on how to do that and how it can relate back to your business and how you can hit the targets and goals that you are looking to hit. Now, I'll jump into that before I get started. You might know the drill if you watched a video before. I'm Dan Savadra from Merge Your Data. We are a signal analytics consulting firm. We take data points that are the best indicators of a prospect or a customer buying, expanding, cross-selling, or canceling, so that you can have those data points to act on and to prevent bad things from happening, and then to help your sales and marketing team perform better. I've been working in data for 12 years, done a bunch of different things. This is relevant for. It's the same as last video: sales, RevOps, marketing, leadership, and their teams. If you plan out anything with budget around marketing, around sales, around revenue, this will be useful for you. If you act on any of the stuff, this will be useful for you. If you're if you're a CEO, then this will still be relevant if you're thinking of how to strategically help your teams succeed and hit the targets that you want them to hit. And so no more messing around. Let's get to the tool here. I already have it open. And on the intro page here, you can see a quick explanation of why this tool is useful, why this workbook is useful. You can see up here, if you want to reduce your sales cycle and double your pipeline conversion rate, you can book a call on our website. We can help you get there. We can help you make sure that people are converting each stage in your pipeline. You don't want a leaky pipeline there. But overall, this workbook really is about a common misconception and hurdle that I see people face all the time, which is metrics and dashboards are completely useless by themselves. They don't mean anything if you're just staring at a pretty dashboard. And so this constructor tool helps you get past that point and tie action back to the data that you're looking at, and it helps you build that plan one by one. And so the power of these sheets are when they are combined together, and the Signals Constructor tab is the tab that does that. And like I say here, a metric by itself is just a number. A metric with a single dimension is just a guess. And a metric with multiple dimensions in context with other metrics with multiple dimensions is a story. So we want to tell stories with our data. We want to be able to have a clear takeaway and a clear path forward. It might not be right 100% of the time, but it's a numbers game. You want the probability to be high, and you want to be confident when you move forward, and you can always readjust with more data later on. So I see a lot of people stop with just a metric by itself, looking at revenue. Okay, revenue in no context doesn't mean anything. What does $1 million mean? Well, if you have a 1,000-person company, it means you're in trouble. If you're a one-person company, it means you're doing great. So you have no context, it doesn't mean anything. A metric with a single dimension is just a guess. And so with a single dimension, if we're looking at a channel, and then we're looking at a lifetime value, we are just guessing at what to do when we're looking at the direction of that. There are so many additional variables going into that channel and the lifetime value that we have to look at to really understand what's going on and make a decision. Otherwise, we're just guessing. So that's where we're at here. And now a metric with multiple dimensions in context with other metrics with multiple dimensions is a story. And so when we're talking about looking at the lifetime value and then also looking at the churn rate, defined each by 4 metrics, now we have a very specific story. We see that a lifetime value of a specific channel and company size and department size and product type that you're selling them leads to a low lifetime value, but you have almost no churn. And so we're combining those together. We now have part of a story. You can even pair that with your lifetime gross profit, and now you have those 3 metrics together with the same dimensions, and now you have a real story to tell, and you can know exactly what you're going to do next. And so that's what we're doing with this tool here. And so when you go access this tool, you'll have all this stuff you can read later. But let's dive into the metric table. So these are broken down by each part we just described, metrics and dimensions, and then actions. And that's where we get our signals that we can act on. And so this page here is a lot of the metrics that we use with our clients. And you can always add more to these. These are pretty standard, but they're the ones that perform best for us. And so once you read into these tables, you're going to be able to think of your own for your own business if there are any that are missing here. And so we have it broken up into these different levels. So you have level 1, which is top level financial metrics. These are the fundamentals, the basics. Level 2 is unit economics. It's where you get more granular and can understand on a account by account, on deal by deal basis, whether or not you are performing how you need to perform. And then we go down further than that, and that's level 3, that's activity details. And that's when we're getting into the nitty gritty of specific numbers that can indicate very specific actions for specific teams. And so you have different levels here, and depending on how far you've gone down into this data before, will determine how far you need to go down this time to get great results. So remember the Pareto principle that we talked about, 20% of efforts lead to 80% of results. We are looking for the level with the correct dimensions to get those outsized results. Some people only really need to go down to the top level. So they start at the top level, that's all they need. Other people, more developed and mature businesses, might need to go down to level 2. And then if you're a big corporation and you have tons of data, very complex customers, you can get down as far as this. And so those are the metrics that we're going to be referencing. The dimensions table here is how you're slicing and dicing that data. So you're pairing it with a metric. You're pairing multiple dimensions with a metric. And so we'll fill out that right now. It looks like we don't have all of these filled out. A lot of them are pretty self-explanatory, but we'll update this too over time as we feel like descriptions need to be added. But the dimensions here in column C are what we're looking at. And so right now they're sorted alphabetically, and this one was sorted by metric. For the drop down, you can always resort here. But anyways, back to dimension. So this is where you're slicing and dicing data. We have it categorized here if you want to look at specific categories. If you want to look at specific dimension types, we have that in this column, and this is the actual dimension that you're cutting your data up with. And so we have things like the basics. Geography, 2 different levels of geography. So this one is individual level, right? And then this one is account level. Firmographic and demographic. So those are really basic ones. And then we have event-based that you might have thought of in your sales or marketing process before, which is the job change less than 6 months before an opportunity was created. So we're putting a flag in the ground there of when we're measuring that or what time frame we're measuring that with. We have last touch point prior to a conversion. So this would be the last measurable touch point prior to someone actually turning into a contact or going to the next deal stage or turning into a customer. And so we can break this dimension down into various conversions as well. So that's another dimension. So these are the dimensions that we'll be using to pair with actions. I would recommend looking at these dimensions because there's probably additional dimensions in your head that you already break down data by or care about when you look at data points, look at customer journeys. And so we want to make sure that we have all of our dimensions that we want to slice and dice the data with here. These are the most common ones that we use. So this is what we're going to get started with. And then last but not least is the actions table. And so this one is broken down by team and then the actual action that we will suggest based off of the data point. And so you have everything here from your basic add to an advertising audience, could be on one of your social platform or one of your advertising platforms for the marketing team. You could have a cold email or cold offer from sales. If let's say you have a really, really good fit and you think that there's a low level offer that'll convert, you can do that, whatever your business type is and whatever your sales process is. You have cross-sell, downsell, you have customer success in here. Identify as a major win. So let's say there's been awesome success with a specific measure or a specific metric and then specific dimensions. And then you want to pick a customer out of there. You can identify as a a major win, and that can be something that customer success sends back to marketing so they can create a case study, which we have in there as well. Where it isn't here, but there's create a case study. You have social media comment if you just want your sales team to engage. Maybe there's like a big news event that happened and you want them to be out on your target accounts, commenting on posts and asking questions. You have interview for research, interview for content, LinkedIn connection. So these are all the actions that you can take. Add more to this depending on things that your sales and marketing team do. But let's get to the important tab here. Signals Constructor. This is where the magic happens. It's a drop-down option based off of the metric table that we went over, and then the dimensions table that we went over, and then last but not least, the actions table that we went over here. And so I put 2 examples to get you started. These are very common ones. So this is net retention revenue. This is a customer success metric, a retention metric. And so let's say we're breaking it down by marketing channel, then by the campaign that they came from. So this would be the original source. This would the company size, and then the technologies used. This would be one signal point that we think indicates a significant action needs to be taken. And you can combine this with multiple signals. So let's say you want to do NRR again, and then you can do different dimensions, or you could combine NRR with another relevant metric, which would be something like a churn rate. And then you can break this down by different dimensions: company size, company financial type, all these different dimensions, right? And then add an action to that as well. And now you have a playbook to execute on based off of certain data points. And the criteria here is where we are talking about the specifics around the metrics and dimensions, and then that action that needs to be taken. So when NRR is below 100% for a specific channel, campaign, company size, and technology, increase regular meetings with the customer using the customer success team. So the action we took was increase touch points to save account. And so if we see that a category of category of company sizes coming from a specific channel and campaign, using HubSpot compared to Salesforce, using Google Analytics compared to something custom, then we can have this action here. Now, obviously, NRR is an aggregate metric, so you'd be able to see a trend here broken down. So you would need something more specific to choose an account out of that. So then obviously something like, let's see, if I look through these, then I think a couple things we could look at. We could look at like a net promoter score, NPS, or we could look at number of cancellation page views or number of support requests. So let's put number of support requests in there. And then we can break this down further by the dimensions. And then we actually have an action there for increase touch points to save account. So let's say that you have a group here where the NRR is below 100%. Then we look at the number of support requests afterwards, broken down by the company size, by the company financial type, by whatever other dimensions you want. And then you can take the action of increasing regular meetings here. And so maybe we would switch this up and we would say increase regular meetings here. And then this would be look at number of support request metric signals. And so instead, this is just a go-to. You're looking at this one after you see that the NRR is below 100. So this is the signal constructor. You can layer this however many times you want in whatever way you want. You can combine these actions. You can explain them with the criteria in column G there. This is the way that you come up with a playbook and game plan for your team to attack the areas that are causing you problems right now. If you are not converting the number of leads expected into customers, if you have a leaky pipeline stage to stage after measuring it, if you are churning customers and you are not meeting your revenue retention goals, This is the way that you reverse engineer a way to stop it, a way to increase your performance, to stop all of these problems that are occurring. Come up with a plan, understand the data points, come up with the action, and then execute on it. And so before we wrap up here, how you get this tool is you go to the link in the video description for the 90-day YouTube sprint, put your email in there. We'll send you the link to this Google Sheet that you can duplicate, make a copy of for yourself, and then you can get going with your team. All right, so that's the free resource. Take one action. Please like, comment, share in a company chat. Comment, all good, all bad, doesn't matter. Love to hear it. Next videos, I didn't update this page because I forgot. Just got too excited with the free resource. We're not going to do another deep dive on our free signals resource. We just did that. So we'll go into another signal analytics problem that people are facing and how we can solve this with signal analytics. I'm Dan Saavedra from Merger Data. Thanks for watching.